War. She succeeded to the throne in 1952 after the death of her father. And on the night of her coronation, in a broadcast on the BBC, she said, "Throughout all of my life and with all of my heart, I shall strive to be worthy of your service." And as that message, and as the message she issued on the 70th anniversary of her accession showed, if there is one word that I think is the key to the success of her reign, I would suggest it's not actually duty, the word which is normally associated with her, it's humility. Because for all of the grandness of her position, here is the coronation, the imperial state crown being lowered onto her head by the Archbishop of Canterbury. For all the grandness of her position, it never went to...
Welcome everyone to...
She had, I think, an instinctive understanding.
Welcome everyone to Chasing Dissent Live. Unfortunately we missed the actual announcement due to a technical hitch, but Buckingham Palace has confirmed that the Queen has died. BBC are now running their pre-recorded normal part of this whole procedure, which in this case will be Operation Unicorn, as she's died in Scotland at Balmoral. We'll continue to give you coverage of this at the moment. I must apologise for our tardiness in getting online with this.
She was at heart people who knew her. It's funny to talk in the past tense now, isn't it? She was a very down-to-earth, a straightforward and unpretentious woman, rather reserved, certainly in her early years. There was none of that sort of vainglorious and overbearing behaviour that we've sometimes perhaps seen with other members of her family. For 70 years, she's been the constant, unchanging presence in the background to our lives, the head of the nation, as she's sometimes been referred to, above politics, but with a shrewd interest in and a grasp of politics and of political figures. So we now look back on, and there will be so many tributes now, as people take this in, as they come to terms with their own emotions. And I'm quite sure there will be many people who are very emotional at this moment as they learn of this news, the death of the Queen. But this nation and so many other nations will now pay tribute to this long life of service which has now ended.
Symbolised everywhere, Nick. The flags are being lowered, and the rainbow along with the lowered flag at Windsor, the favourite home of the Queen. So many years.
So as we can see, the flag is indeed flying at half-mast at Windsor.
So many
I would imagine it's also been brought down to half-mast.
Tribute will be echoed by political leaders at Downing Street.
What the hell happened now?
Trust to say something
What?
fairly soon. The Prime Minister
Excuse me?
will offer her own sympathy to the royal family, and she will of course have her own words of appreciation for the long service of Her Majesty. And there'll be other political leaders too wanting to pay tribute to a lifetime of service, a lifetime of humble commitment to duty, as Nick was saying, and of taking...
We seem to be getting bombarded with technical issues this evening, don't we? I don't know if this has anything to do with what has occurred, but we're up at the moment, and we're showing you the people gathered outside Buckingham Palace. Ben should be with us at some point, and we'll continue to give you this stream just now.
To offer the experience and learning to his elder daughter Elizabeth. And there you have at the railings of Buckingham Palace, they are, in line with tradition, posting the formal notice. And that notice will say that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has died peacefully today at Balmoral in Scotland, the age of 96, the longest reigning monarch in British history. a lifetime of service to people in the United Kingdom, throughout the Commonwealth, and in many parts of the world. An example of leadership which didn't stray into the realm of politics, and for lots of people, the ideal symbol of what a constitutional monarchy should be like. Well, now the world has been told, and the official notice has been posted as the palace staff make their way back into what was the Queen's home. It is now the home of the King and the Queen Consort, because Prince Charles is now King Charles. It remains to be seen whether he will call himself Charles as King.
That's
but
scary.
we are assuming that he will. And this now is the home of the new monarch, the King, and his consort, the Queen Consort. Crowds still gathering at Buckingham Palace because the news has travelled very rapidly here and at Windsor and at all the other royal residences. But of course people will be following these events closely on their televisions and their mobile devices and all kinds of different means of spreading the news and social media as people come to terms with what's happened. And as Nick was saying memorably a few moments ago, it's a seismic event. It's the longest reigning monarch in British history who's left us at the age of 96, and it's not a surprise.
So Hugh's telling us all about the Queen and how long she's been reigning over us. He was almost tearful earlier on, before the announcement was actually made. So we've had a few technical issues as we came up to the announcement. I suddenly saw the flag at half mast on screen, and immediately I initiated the stream. And at that point, everything stopped working. And then once it got the stream going, the other computer stopped working. So it seems to be a coincidence that everything stopped all at the same time. But we'll continue to bring you this stream as best as we can now, so it seems to be working. Ben is having his dinner, so he's vacated his post in order to eat. Yes, I have no other words for it. You know, what else can I say?
And with very little experience, at the age of 25, when she didn't expect to be.
We're going to get the whole history of the Queen now by the sound of things.
Dying in his 50s. A terrible blow, and then a huge burden for the young Queen to be bearing. But she did so, and with a strong sense of what the monarchy was meant to be, the sense that her father had shared with her. And as we said earlier, for those considering the nature of the reign, the longest reign in British history, it was in many senses a continuation of the reign of George VI. The crowds at the palace will have seen this formal announcement. The Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and Queen Consort will be staying at Balmoral tonight and will be returning to London tomorrow. And that is the formal announcement to the world in the traditional way. The printed formal announcement being fixed to the railings of Buckingham Palace. And that, when we see that, Nick, that is the chapter completed.
So,
and the vehicles,
as we suspected earlier,
are stopping.
They haven't delayed it by any length of time, really, because as soon as the family was all there, I think they made the announcement straight away. Because in this day and age, if you start delaying things, you're going to look pretty silly, because everybody knew that basically she was either on her deathbed or she had already died, and the family were obviously being brought there to pay the last respects, which is perfectly understandable. You wouldn't go and announce the death of a close family member unless everyone in your family had been told first, surely.
The King was at her bedside.
Well, yeah, everybody knew what was happening, and everybody had obviously donned the requisite morning gear. And when I say when I say morning, I mean morning, not morning. And yeah, they were ready for it. That is obviously a big thing for the media, in particular the BBC, and for the country indeed, I suppose, because she has been around for a while.
President Biden, White House.
It's a bit scary though that we're now got Charles on board. I'm not a great fan of Charles. He's very much involved in the WEF. He's a bit of a climate champion. He's he could be a bit scary. He could be. So we'll see what happens there, obviously.
And of course.
So 1996, I see Rami saying she was the same age as her granny. 96 is a good age to get to. Oh, there's Ben. Good on you. Hello, Ben.
As we've both been saying, people will feel a personal loss.
Yes.
A person who they, in some way,
yes, I have. Hold on, I'll mute the.
Has gone. Who was always there. Who was this reassuring presence,
give me a second.
Embodiment of stability and continuity, and who personified the unity of the United Kingdom. It is, as I think you used the word, it is a seismic event in terms of the United Kingdom. And of course it, I think, will rather add to that sense of flux that we have.
Right, you there?
I'm here. I can see you. I can hear you.
Good. You seem quite quiet. Why do you seem so quiet?
Oh, look, I can see us up in the corner over the BBC.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Right, so we had a few issues. The stream didn't appear to go, and then I restarted everything, and it did start working. And then the other computer decided to stop streaming Ring Central. Ring Central just crashed completely out. It was as if everything had been designed to fall apart exactly at the moment that she died, because the flag went down, and then so did we.
Yeah, well.
But these things happen, but we're back up. I think Shalene's asking when is her body coming back. I think she lies in state for, was it 3 days or something at Holyrood?
In Scotland, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it'll come back via either train or plane and be met by Liz Truss, the Prime Minister, and members of the Cabinet.
Yes, that's correct. So that's what happens there.
Yes, so good evening, one and all. I don't know if John's already said that to you, but another Chasing Dissent prediction comes true. We said this afternoon that she was probably already away, and it seems that we were right. Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II has passed away aged 96 at the Balmoral estate in Scotland, and regardless of what people think of her, there are a damn load of people around this country who are devastated, and we now enter what I believe is 12 days of national mourning. I'm not picking anything up from the other feed.
We're using a new, just for the information of people out there, we're using a new system tonight, and we've still got really to get to grips with it as such.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I am not in control.
Yeah, you are not in control.
I am not in control at all. The stream is coming out.
Can you hear that now?
Queen
I can.
Elizabeth made such an unforgettable.
So I can turn that down. So I've got control over that. So yeah, so there we go. Are we big enough? I can make us bigger, or I can make us smaller.
I'd say make us slightly bigger.
Slightly bigger, yes. Okay.
Put us right in the corner.
Right in the corner and slightly bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a second, and I shall do that.
This is really, really good. I'm sorry that we're doing tech issues on the fly here, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't really see your comments. This is really weird for me because usually I'm looking at everything and looking at the stream and controlling the scenes, and it's very, very odd.
Let's go up a bit. Does that look?
I wonder if I open my OBS if I can see the restring chat.
How's that? How does that look?
I don't know. I'll have to go on to.
Oh, you're not
YouTube.
on any of the
Give me a minute.
channels.
That's a statement.
Bigger or
Expected.
Pull us down.
yeah?
Sometime in the next maybe
'Cause
20 minutes or so.
Pull us down so you can see our entire box,
Right. Okay.
and then that'll be grand.
Right. How's that then? Okay.
Oh, I can see the chat.
Yay! You can see the chat.
And
I can see the Twitch chat.
I can see the Twitch and the YouTube chat,
Right,
and I can
okay.
see there's 5 of you watching on YouTube. Good evening, and there's 12 of you watching over on Twitch.
Yep.
Once again, now that we are sort of sorted, ladies and gentlemen, it is. I guess it's sad. It's sad to tell you that Queen Elizabeth II, monarch, queen, ruler of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, has passed away age 96. It seems that when we made that prediction earlier on this afternoon that she had already passed away, seems at that point we were probably right.
Yeah, I think they were just waiting on the family arriving to pay the last respects before they announced it.
Had Harry arrived?
I'm not sure, but a police car went in shortly before, and I'm suspecting that might have been Harry in the back.
Yeah.
The BBC missed it, but when I saw the police car going in, I thought, that's unusual.
So Lauren Wright says she lived to 96, a privilege denied to many. Oh yeah, she's had a good
absolutely,
innings. She's had a very good run.
Especially over the last few years, but we'll not speak about that.
No, those pictures from the other day when she was meeting Liz Truss and Boris Johnson, it seems so weird. I mean, if you put 2 of them next to one another, one's got a green rug half under the chairs and one doesn't, and yet Liz is stood there wearing the same clothes in the same place. In one of them, the fire's on, the other, the fire's off. It all just seemed a bit very strange.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wonder how real those, or at least that second picture where she's alone was, because that first picture where she's shaking Liz Truss's hand, I kind of have hand, didn't I?
You kind of what?
I have confidence in that being at least probably real, because the hand I pointed out.
I'm not 100% sure, because she kind of looked blurry. I thought, Truss did. Not the Queen, but Truss looked a bit blurry, unless she was moving while the photographer took the photo. But I
mean, these people though, they don't hang around, do they? The first thing I heard was the King is at Balmoral.
yeah. I know.
And the King and Queen consort will be named tonight.
Yeah.
So they really don't hang around. It's like the body's not even cold, and it's mummy, give me the crown.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, in that respect, at least give it a few days, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. But he's being crowned tonight. He's being named tonight, anyway. I believe he's crowned or coronated in a year.
Yeah, he won't be coronated yet, but he will be named.
It's a year, I think.
Yeah.
Because he then has to go on a tour before he's coronated, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. King and the Queen Consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow.
Yeah, they're not hanging about, are they?
They're really not hanging about. They're not standing on ceremony, are they? They're going for it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the body's not even cold. Your mother's just died. Maybe it's time to not call yourself the king just now. Just.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, because I mean, if you've watched Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, the the succession must continue.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. It just beggars belief to me, and this is not something. It's not something I could do. I mean, they're trained for this their entire lives, though, aren't they? And they're groomed for this, and they know this procedure inside and out.
Yep.
They know exactly. All of the guards, everyone at Balmoral today has rehearsed what happened today 1,000 times. They know what's going on. They know what they're doing, and I said,
I'll be back in 2 secs. You keep going.
oh, he's gone. Okay. But like I said, 96 years of age. She's had a good innings. I spoke this afternoon about my grandmother, who's 77 years of age, and I'll just quickly riff on her again because I love her dearly. Outside of my immediate household, she is my favourite member of the family. But she has for all of my life, and obviously all of her life, been a major royalist. She loves the Queen. She loves the royal family. She loves the ceremony. She loves all that crap. And fine, people are allowed to make mistakes. But she'll be devastated. People like that all over the country, people who, have their street parties and put up their bunting and celebrates their Jubilee. Mr. Jungle Griffin says, my mum is distraught. And anyone of that era or anyone of that age is probably distraught as well, because this is really, it signals in my mind, and this might be sounding, a little bit down, but it signals in my mind the end of the true end of what came before. And now we are careening, shall we say, head first into a new future with a new king, a king who just happened to have launched Klaus Schwab's The Great Reset. It's a little bit, yeah. It's a little bit.
What's up?
I was just saying, this might sound a bit down, but to me, it also very much signals the end of the old world. It signals the end of what came before, and now, she's one of the last remnants to that past.
Yeah.
And now that she's gone, the man that launched the Great Reset with Klaus Schwab just happens to be our king.
Yeah, I did allude to that earlier, that I was a bit worried about Charles, because as you know, he does have strong links to the WEF.
Yeah, he has strong links to some very, very nefarious people in some very, very nefarious places. And he's the type of hypocrite who will fly back to London tomorrow. He'll fly back to London tomorrow on a private jet of some kind, and then turn around and say, you can't fly on holiday. These are the types of people that they are. Now, am I bashing him? Should I be bashing him?
Well,
I don't know.
I know what you're saying, right? And yes, he will have some influence, I think, but ultimately it is, or it should only be a rubber stamping operation, So he really doesn't have anything to do with the day-to-day running of the country and what people do.
No, you're right, but it's really his name that brings influence, in my view, and his status now, King Charles.
Yeah, and to be fair, I don't think if he had any real influence, they wouldn't be opening up fracking.
No, you're absolutely right in that respect, I guess. But then at the same time, well, I think the Prime Minister probably had an idea, and what I'm imagining is, because it was around about 12:30 we got that statement out of Buckingham Palace saying she was unwell, right? That's when she died.
Yeah.
They knew, and that was the message that the Prime Minister and Keir Starmer and others, Jacob Rees-Mogg, would have got. They would have been told the facts. They would have been told she's passed away. We're dealing with it. Keep stum. Know the drill.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Jungle Griffin is going off on chat about him being the commander of the armed forces and all this. Yeah, in name, in theory, but go and try it and see what happens. I would say, if he goes and tries that, you're getting nowhere. It's a figurehead now. That's all he is.
And ultimately, he is an old man in his 70s. Yes, we do get 12 days of mourning, Adam. I believe the shops are actually meant to be closing right now.
Well, what shops? You can't close. How many shops are going to close?
I have no idea, but that's part of it.
But you can't close shops because people won't have enough food.
Yeah, I mean, let's see how national mourning period plans already in place 4 hours ago. Operation London Bridge. Let's have a look. The Queen's coffin is set to lie in state to allow the public to pay their last respects. Lying in state usually reserved for sovereigns, current or past queen consorts, and sometimes former prime ministers. During the formal occasion, the closed coffin is placed on view in the vast medieval Westminster Hall in the Palace of Westminster. The historic spectacle is expected to attract hundreds of thousands of people, and I guarantee you they start charging them as well.
No, they can't charge them to go in.
I hope not.
You can't do that. Yeah, that's a wild statement that you've made there with no substantiation.
Yeah, I know, it's a joke. It's a joke.
Okay. Right, so yeah, we'll see what happens, but you know, I mean,
the London Stock Exchange will not be running tomorrow.
Life's still got to go on.
Yeah. During the morning period, the new king will deliver an address to the nation. It is understood that tomorrow the accession council...
Here's Liz.
Oh.
We are all devastated by the news that we have just heard from Balmoral. The death of Her Majesty the Queen is a huge shock to the nation and to the world. Queen Elizabeth II was the rock on which modern Britain was built. Our country has grown and flourished under her reign. Britain is the great country it is today because of her. She ascended the throne just after the Second World War. She championed the development of the Commonwealth from a small group of 7 countries to a family of 56 nations, spanning every continent of the world. We are now a modern, thriving, dynamic nation. Through thick and thin, Queen Elizabeth II provided us with the stability and the strength that we needed. She was the very spirit of Great Britain, and that spirit will endure. She has been our longest ever reigning monarch. It's an extraordinary achievement to have presided with such dignity and grace for 70 years. Her life of service stretched beyond most of our living memories. In return, she was loved and admired by the people in the United Kingdom and all around the world. She has been a personal inspiration to me and to many Britons. Her devotion to duty is an example to us all. Earlier this week, at 96, she remained determined to carry out her duties as she appointed me as her 15th Prime Minister. Throughout her life, she's visited more than 100 countries, and she has touched the lives of millions around the world. In the difficult days ahead, we will come together with our friends across the United Kingdom, the Commonwealth and the world to celebrate her extraordinary lifetime of service. It is a day of great loss, but Queen Elizabeth II leaves a great legacy. Today the crown passes, as it has done for more than 1,000 years, to our new monarch, our new head of state, His Majesty, King Charles III. With the King's family, we mourn the loss of his mother, and as we mourn, we must come together as a people to support him, to help him bear the awesome responsibility that he now carries for us all. We offer him our loyalty and devotion, just as his mother devoted so much to so many for so long. And with the passing of the second Elizabethan age, we usher in a new era in the magnificent history of our great country, exactly as Her Majesty would have wished, by saying the words, "God save the King."
The Prime Minister, Liz Truss, who
She's been writing that all day, hasn't she, with her speechwriters?
Having met the Queen in that audience, really presenting her own tribute.
John, we can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Sorry. I muted myself in case I inadvertently laughed. She gets more and more like Chucky in every pressing minute, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Known as King Charles III.
I'm not offering my loyalty to King Charles III.
No, I'm not either.
That's just me. I'm sorry, but I will continue with the statement that I made this afternoon. I will once again make it. I'm sorry, but no human being is above another, by birth or otherwise. and I will not offer my loyalty blindly to somebody who wants to see me impoverished. Thank you very much.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
Now-
we spoke about this earlier about the new notes and coins. I'm sure that they will come. In fact, they've probably got some printed already.
Isn't he in his 70s, Charles?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He's not going to last very long, is he?
Well, if you look at his sausage fingers, probably not.
How long till we have a King William? That's the question. How long till we do all of this again?
He's a bit scary as well, though.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Don't trust him.
if Charles were, not, if he were an intelligent man and didn't want this all to happen again, he would simply abdicate and pass it on.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. He's too old.
He's not going to do that.
He's too old.
He's not going to do that.
I know he's not going to do that, but let's face it, assuming the role of king, and all of the state pomp and ceremony that comes with it, and all of this after the fact, this is just going to happen again in what, 5-10 years maybe?
Yeah, possibly. No, mind his dad was what, 90 some, nearly 100, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean they are. To be fair, you are right. They are kept alive better than we are. That is a fact.
Yeah.
Once again, simply by birth, they have the quote-unquote right to better than you and I. And whilst, once again, I will reiterate, it's very sad for the family. It's very sad that a human being has passed away. I just can't reconcile the difference between the type of treatment that they get and the type of treatment that, like, let's say Lisa in the chat's mother gets.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's and what, just because of who happened to birth them.
Yeah, so he's 73 as Charles, according to the chat room. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for letting us know that. But
the death of my beloved
I don't know, because like I said, I feel for the people that are. I feel for the family. I feel for the family on a human level, because they've lost their mum, they've lost their grandma. She only lost her husband last year, so they only lost their dad last year. I feel for it on the family level. I feel for the fact that it's a human being that's passed away, but I need to separate that from what the monarchy represents. And you know what? When I think 1994 Liz Truss was bang on.
Yeah. Yeah, she probably was. Yeah. I mean, I've no great love for the monarchy whatsoever. I think it's an outmoded and outdated institution that we really don't need in modern society. But
I agree.
There are many people who would disagree with me. And that's entirely their prerogative.
Absolutely. It's just from an egalitarian, from a tree-hugging, hippy-dippy liberal perspective, I can't stand seeing people who have simply done nothing to earn it or achieve it be held up and treated so much better than somebody who's having a bad day. It's just me. Look at all of this all over the TV.
Prime Minister.
This will be days and days and days and days of this, but how many other do you know how many other people died today?
Yeah, roughly about 1,600.
Roughly about 1,600.
Well, plus another 300 or 400 that shouldn't have died.
Yeah. But
well, they haven't implemented. It doesn't appear they've implemented their black government websites.
Did they not do it?
Well, I'm looking at gov.uk just now, and it's still there, and it's still available, and you can find out how to move to the UK if you come from Ukraine.
So royal.uk is simply a splash page now with Queen Elizabeth II, 1926 to 2022. Portrait of her. The Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and Queen Consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. So that's royal.uk.
Yeah, but the gov.uk still seems to be up and running as normal. So they're not implementing the full protocol.
BBC's black.
And gravity of those final words from Liz Truss.
The BBC is black.
When we look at the change,
you're correct when it comes to gov.uk.
Clearly there are big implications for Downing Street and government, given the very strong axis that exists
Right.
between the office
John.
of the monarch.
Yeah.
I am probably going to jump out.
Yeah, okay.
Are we going down the rabbit hole tonight?
I don't know. What do you think?
It's entirely your call. I will be here if you want to. I will not if you don't.
I don't know if we get a day off work, do we? Do we get a day off work tomorrow?
A new monarch.
It'll be
We
a
don't.
profound change.
I know we don't. But
Politically
does everybody else?
flux.
I hope not, because I want to go to the shops. And what about the schools? Are the schools closing? Are the schools open? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the schools will be closed tomorrow, won't they?
I bloody well hope not.
Trying to work out how the very high
I can't see them all going in. I think, yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
and beyond
I think it's going to be at least, what is it, 10 days before the funeral? At least 10 days?
protocol
We're in 12 days of mourning.
12 days, right. Okay, so there you go. 12 days.
as an institution.
Yeah, it's a
Institution.
bit of a mishmash.
Its profound historical moment.
I don't see anything about schools closing, so that's a good start. That's a good sign.
Single audience with the Queen.
Yeah.
First audience.
And ladies and gentlemen, before I do jump off, if you are watching over on YouTube, thank you very much for joining us over there. I hope you've given the stream a like, a share, and if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. We would really, really appreciate earning that subscription from you today. I know I'm sounding a bit down, but you know, it's a bit of a situation, and it's a situation that, whilst yes, very sad for the family involved, and I feel being propaganda shields, propaganda outlets, they just
Sorry.
yeah, I think I've said my piece on this situation. So we might be seeing you tonight at 9. Not sure, but if we are, then we are. If we're not. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Thank you.
Are you staying on?
I think I'll. I don't think there's any real need for me to continue with this. We've broke the news as best as we could, albeit not quite the way we wanted to. We've had a reasonable test. I think if there's any feedback from the stream as to the quality, picture
I'll
and
leave
audio,
now, so
yeah, okay.
see you later, guys.
If anybody in the stream's got any feedback on picture quality and audio, that would be appreciated, just so as we know where we stand just now.
The wisdom and experience
Oh, I've gone all big.
able to bring.
I'll give you a couple of minutes to reply. It's all good. Thank you, Shalini. Thank you.
Leaders are wanting to pay their own tribute.
Lisa says looks good. Yep, excellent.
Let's just underline the fact that the Queen passed away at Balmoral in Aberdeenshire.
Thumbs up. Yep.
Minister of Scotland.
Okay, that sounds great. Right, guys. We will catch you. Oh, looks very good, John. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you. Right, so that's great. Thanks very much for attending this, and we'll catch all you guys later. I'll get in touch with Ed and see how he feels. But if we are going, we'll be on at 9. So if you don't get notifications, have a quick look at 9 and see if we're up or not. And catch you all later. So with that, just a brief summation. The Queen has died this afternoon, apparently, with her family around her in Balmoral. King Charles will be back in London tomorrow with his Queen consort, and we will have 12 days of mourning before the state funeral. So with that, I bid you all good evening.
Because we are reporting